You know, life always finds a way to humble you. And it's so weird because every time I feel like I've seen it all, the universe allows for something totally random to happen. Almost as if the universe is sending me a direct message that says, "You ain't seen nothing yet." And, covering the news on a daily basis, sometimes it gets tiring because you see all of these different crazy stories happening, but often these stories are just like another story that you saw happen. For example, we've been talking about these crazy situations happening at McDonald's lately. McDonald's managers being attacked and killed by their employees simply for telling their employees to work. We've seen that happen multiple times just within the last week or so. So yeah, sometimes just looking at the news, it feels like history repeating itself over and over again every day. It feels like Groundhog Day. Well, today was one of those days where I was feeling like, you know what, I've seen it all. There's nothing really unique to talk about. And then bam, the universe allowed for something absolutely random to happen. Now, when I was a kid, I used to go to a place called Chuck E. Cheese. I'm sure that a lot of you all have heard of Chuck E. Cheese. It's like a kid's play place. You go there, you play arcade games, you crawl around the tunnels, and then you eat pizza while a terrifying animatronic sings songs to you. Well, nowadays they have replaced the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics with mascots, people in Chuck E. Cheese costumes. And, the difference between animatronics and human beings is that human beings commit crimes. And apparently, someone that was working as a Chuck E. Cheese mascot, he was just arrested, taken down, in front of a bunch of kids trying to eat pizza and play games. I kid you not. This is the first time I've ever seen anything like this. But the police marched right into a Chuck E. Cheese and snatched up the mouse himself. They snatched up Chucky himself in the middle of the establishment. Kids running around, tickets shooting out the skee ball machine. Kids just walking up to the front desk with hundreds of tickets only to be able to afford a little plastic vampire teeth. Well, kids at this particular Chuck E. Cheese location, they were in for a real treat, a real surprise, because they got to watch Chucky get arrested in real time. And, I would say that the kids are probably horrified. It's a crazy situation, but at the same time, I don't know, when I was growing up, half the kids were scared of Chuck E. Cheese and his little gang of fellow animatronics. And I understand why. In fact, they launched a entire video game franchise, a horror video game franchise, kind of loosely based on Chuck E. Cheese, Five Nights at Freddy's. But anyways, yeah, the kids at this establishment, at this particular Chuck E. Cheese location, they got to watch Chucky get arrested, and I just wonder what was going through their minds. Because for some of them, I'm sure it's kind of traumatic, but for others, they're already scared of this mouse, and seeing the police come in and take him away, maybe it was a good thing for them. Maybe it was like they could finally let out a sigh of relief. I could eat my cheese pizza without this creepy mouse hanging around. I don't know. I wish I could have seen the reactions on their faces in real time, though, after this happened. But let's go ahead and dive into an article. Let's find out why this guy or this gal, whoever is in the Chuck E. Cheese costume, let's find out why they were arrested. But before I do that, if you're here, if you're still watching, make sure you hit that like button. It helps the channel out a lot. Drop a comment below if you've ever gone to Chuck E. Cheese or if you've ever taken your kids to Chuck E. Cheese, sound off in the comments below. And if you've never heard of it, let me know as well, because Chuck E. Cheese was always just a part of my, it's just always been there. And I don't know if that's the same for everyone else. Do they have a Chuck E. Cheese everywhere in America? I don't know. I never really looked into that. So if you've never heard of it, let me know down below. But also, if you would like to take your support further, if you really enjoy these videos, if you want to help keep the lights on around here, you can always consider donating via Cash App or Super Thanks. Always greatly appreciated, but never mandatory. With that being said, let's dive into this article. Alleged Florida crook dressed as Chuck E. Cheese mascot arrested on credit card theft charges in front of horrified kids. One hell of a headline. It wasn't his cheddar to spend. An alleged crook dressed as the Chuck E. Cheese mascot was busted on credit card theft charges as stunned kids watched cops haul him away in full mouse costume, Florida authorities said on Thursday. Jermel Jones was working at the Kids Entertainment Center in Tallahassee on Wednesday when police stormed the joint during a birthday party and placed him in handcuffs. Jones was captured on camera wearing the cartoon's rodent's signature purple sea sweatshirt and a glum facial expression as his giant mouse head sat on top of a nearby cop car during the arrest. The furry fraudster reportedly tried a similar Mickey Mouse operation and was busted for the same credit card crime 6 months ago, the outlet reported. Jones was charged with credit card theft, criminal use of personal identification info, and fraudulent use of a credit card. He was booked and released Thursday morning on a $1,000 bond. Some observers slammed cops for hauling Jones away in the mouse costume as kids watched. Okay, Tallahassee Police Department, y'all couldn't let this man change out of his Chuck E. Cheese costume before arresting him in front of those kids? All right, so I'm kind of confused here. So the police busted in, right? And they arrested him right on the spot as he's performing for kids at a birthday party. But they say that he has pulled off other crimes pretending to be Mickey Mouse. So I'm confused. Is this guy officially working for Chuck E. Cheese? Or does he just have the costume and he pops up at kids' birthday parties and tricks them into paying him and he steals their credit card numbers? We need more information here. We definitely need more information. What do you mean that he just did this pretending to be Mickey Mouse? What? You see, the story gets even crazier, but they don't really dive in to the details. So now I'm sitting here curious, was this just a Chuck E. Cheese worker that happened to be a criminal? Or was this his plot? Would he go into these, kids' play places and pretend to be these characters? He would dress up as Mickey Mouse, Chuck E. Cheese, whatever, and trick parents and get their credit card info? I don't know. But they definitely need to make that clearer so we have a better understanding of what even happened here. Now, as far as the police, kicking in the door and arresting him as he's dressed as Chuck E. Cheese, you would think that they could wait, but that wouldn't be as funny, right? Sure, maybe you could have gotten him somewhere else. Maybe you could wait until he's done with the birthday party, yada, yada, yada. But that wouldn't be as funny as the police storming into Chuck E. Cheese, kicking the door down, and arresting Chucky on the spot as he's doing his little birthday dance. That is absolutely hilarious. And I would love to see someone make a movie about it or something. I think it would work perfectly if you ask me. Okay, so I was able to find some more information because I was really curious here. A police spokesperson, Alicia Hill, says that police were called to the parking lot of the Chuck E. Cheese on July 3rd after a caller reported a stolen credit card. The victim met with officers outside and they said that they had a party at the pizza joint in June. And I meant to say July 23rd. I believe that's what they meant to say in the article. Afterwards, she noticed about $100 of fraudulent charges on her card from places that she didn't shop or hadn't been to. She was able to trace the activity to an employee at the restaurant at 2810 Scherer Road. Police initially identified the suspect as an employee who was checking stamps at the front door. But when they returned to make an arrest, they were advised by another employee that the suspect was now dressed as Chuck E. Cheese. They walked over with the intention of just walking outside to put handcuffs on him outside of public view. According to police reports, one officer, while grabbing the employee, even referred to him as the character himself. Chucky, come with me, Chucky. But when they approached him, he immediately tenses up and then he resists arrest. And so at this point, they make the decision to put him in handcuffs right then and there, keeping in mind the safety of not only the customers, but the suspect as well as the officers involved. She said that the Tallahassee Police Department doesn't have a specific policy on when arrests are appropriate in public, and the agency relies on officer discretion based on the safety of others and ensuring a suspect cannot destroy evidence. It is unfortunate that the person who is subject of this investigation and who we had probable cause on happened to be in a suit and in costume, she added. It's unfortunate that it happened here. Okay, so now the story is adding up a little bit better. I guess a mother had taken her kids to Chuck E. Cheese, and after that she noticed that there were weird charges on her card. Apparently the guy working at Chuck E. Cheese took her credit card number and started using it to buy things. That's how the police were able to track it back to that guy. And when they first showed up, he was at the door ripping tickets. I guess he realized, oh, the police are here. Thought, hey, maybe they could be here for me. So then he immediately goes and tries to dress up as Chuck E. Cheese and act like, he's just mingling inside of Chuck E. Cheese with all of the little kids at their birthday party, when in reality, he dressed up as Chucky to hide from the cops, because when he was at the door taking tickets and stuff, he knew that they were outside, and he knew that he was guilty of stealing people's credit card information at the Chuck E. Cheese. So now it all adds up. I don't feel bad for the guy one bit. And as far as the kids go, yeah, I understand what people are saying. Hey, you should have made the arrest here. You should have taken him outside. But from what law enforcement says, they tried that. They tried to be nonchalant, like, hey, Chucky, come outside with me, Chucky. And then he tensed up, started resisting. And, I mean, what do you want? Do you want your kids to see Chuck E. Cheese go on a freaking rampage and fight the cops and throw smoldering hot cheese pizza everywhere? Do you want your kids to see that? Or do you want your kids to see this guy put in handcuffs and marched out the restaurant? I think that option is better. It sucks that it had to happen, but at the same time, hey, it sucks that Chuck E. Cheese employees are stealing people's credit card information. So it's like nowhere is safe these days. You can't even take your kids to the Chuck E. Cheese anymore because Chuck E. Cheese is getting arrested by the cops. People are stealing your credit card information. I mean, society is really going down the drain. Once again, I want to say this. We did not worry about things like this when I was a kid. When I was a kid, Chuck E. Cheese couldn't be arrested because he was a robot. Maybe we should have kept it that way instead of hiring, let's just say, criminals to play Chuck E. Cheese. Okay? I don't know if they do background checks on these people or what, but it's kind of scary when you got, let's just say dishonest people that are around your kids. There's no telling the type of people that are working at Chuck E. Cheese these days. I can tell you one thing, though. They ain't the type of people that were working there when I was growing up. But you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.